Can remember to, excuse me, can remember to actually start recording before we're 10 minutes into the session this time. I'm about ready to start, so it looks like everybody's kind of logged on. Most of you that have said you were going to be here anyway. Tonight we have just a couple things to talk about, and that is formative assessment, and then to see if you have any questions or problems still left over from the other issues that we had yesterday. Some of you I've not met face-to-face before, but most of you have been here at least once. So I'm Jen, I'm the professor, and the rest of you, as you talk the first time, maybe introduce yourself quickly, because there are some people that haven't been here, at least in this kind of group. I've had about 6 or 7 people ask if there's a possibility of a makeup session next week because of people missing. I have no problem setting up a Zoom link and talking. I don't know that I have a topic in there really other than maybe reflection, because it's a short week. Everything's due by Friday, and you have a reflection to write and a storify to make. And last week they told me that was not a lot of time to get all of that done. So kind of keep that in mind. But I'll be here next week at 30. I'll post a link up just in case for some of you that didn't have 10 resources or whatever and you wanted to have a chance to make up your points for this. All right, so this week we are looking at using assessment and evaluation. And the things that you're doing, there's 3 different things that you're doing this week. You're making a rubric, you're making a survey or a form or some kind of formative assessment like that, and you're also doing a video evaluation, a video assessment. The 3 different things do not have to be all linked in your same lesson, so you don't have to have one lesson that does all 3. I'm fine with them being 3 separate lessons. Pick one to use as like your little objective and talk about in your blog, or you can talk about all 3. I never mind if you write extra a bit. A couple people have asked already if those all have to be tied together into one bundle, and they do not. I'm fine with them being, this is a lesson this week, this is the, Friday's lesson, and the other one I'm doing in my other class Tuesday. That's fine. They don't all have to play together. It's just looking at different types of techniques to assess students and to try to keep them engaged while you're looking at evaluation and assessment. Oh, great. Okay, it looks like it's going to kick me off in 10 minutes. So I'm going to make another session, even though I did this the way it told me to, that it would be longer. And I'll send you the link to log in if we need to go, because I'm assuming we're going to run more than 9 minutes. Sorry. I apologize. The Zoom people in my department have been trying to, they've purchased Zoom and they sent me, I thought, the login to do the one that does not have to be like kicked out quickly. And obviously it's not working. So I'm making another link right now. What kind of dog is that?
English Mastiff. Stop.
So they probably weighs about half of twice what you do almost, huh?
Yeah, she's huge. And she's mad because I'm ignoring her. So I'm gonna go put her up and I will be right back.
Yeah. Okay, so this should give me a link. Nope. I apologize. I thought I had it all fixed up for us, and it's not being cooperative. So anyway, while I'm trying to fix this and give you another link to sign in on, or to click in on if we need to. How many of you have heard of formative assessment? Obviously, most of you are in the classroom right now, so you've used formative assessment in previous classes or student teaching, or when you were doing your work for it. Why do you feel that formative assessment is actually important? Nothing is working. Why do you feel formative assessment is important in your classroom or in your work environment?
I can go first. I feel it's important because it's a good way for me to check my students' understanding. I do it really quick all the time. And for me, it's just a quick way to realize, okay, what are my students getting? What aren't they getting? And what do I need to go back and reteach?
Great. Anybody else have more to add on how you view formative assessment or use it?
I use it to assess prior knowledge to see what they already know before I go into a new unit. It just gives me, a little bit more understanding of where I need to start.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so prior knowledge and to assess where they're at right now. Anyone else have other ways that you use it or things that you use it for?
Well, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Greg.
Oh, sorry. Just agreeing with Madeline's idea that you kind of just judge their previous knowledge. You cover a lot of things that that you don't need to really discuss, but also you could base a lot of points off things they already know to describe the things that they don't know. So I feel that's a great use for it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
I was going to say, I think it's also important for the kids to, for the students to be aware of where they're at in their learning too. So to use formative assessment as a way for them to gauge how they're learning the material and to stop and reflect on where they're at in the learning process too. Not just for me to see where they're at, but for them too.
Yeah, I was going to kind of mirror that. I like using exit slips too, because it's a good formative, hey, did I actually teach what I think I taught, and then did they get it, kind of thing. So I agree.
Anyone else have anything to add? Okay, I actually read 2 articles on this not too long ago, and I can shoot them out to everyone if I can find them on my new laptop. I switched over and nothing is where it's supposed to be, and my OneDrive decided to crash. So if I can track them down, there was one that was talking about exactly what you've been speaking about, the fact that formative assessment is the benchmarking almost that they're doing formally in a lot of classrooms that are tested subjects now to show the students where they're at and the teachers where they're at, and then allow them to work towards not only the goals that are set by the state as in the standards, but also to give the measure the growth of the student and to see how that's working. But I think that, from my opinion, the formative assessment is actually more important than the summative assessment, the chapter tests or whatever, especially working with kids. For my last couple years, I had a lot of the general students, and most of them are not necessarily not bright students. It's just some of them are really, really bad test takers. And in that kind of case, a lot of the time, having these markers along the way that show what they do know and how they can demonstrate their learning in a way other than a pen and pencil test is really something that's important for them. So with that, a couple of you have said exit slips and talking to the students. What are other ways that you could use to formatively assess your students? Michelle, raise your hand. So Michelle, can you talk or? There you go. Go ahead, speak. No? Are you able to make it work? No? Okay. Michelle, if you can get your speaker to work, you're welcome to add to the conversation. It's not coming through right now anyway. Does anyone else have other techniques other than those that you've used for formative assessment?
I use a checklist a lot of times in math. I just walk around and just see if they're, understanding the objective and things like that. And it's just a quick way to kind of check, or, I put TH for teacher help, like if I have to give them extra assistance. So that's kind of a neat way for me to keep up with everything.
Mm-hmm. I've seen people do that even with like a laminated seating chart where they just kind of check off as they're walking around to see who needs to be put into groups for more assistance or whatever. Anybody else have other techniques that you use?
I'll do a quick like 3, 2, 1, where they hold up 3 if they feel like they really know the material well, like they could teach the kid next to them. 2 if they feel like they're still learning, and 1 if they need help. You know, they still don't get it. They need more explanation. And that's like just super quick. You know, just scan the room. You can see where the majority of the class is at. You can see the kids who have 1 finger up. You know, you need to go talk with them. So it's, you know, really easy to do.
Just kind of like this.
Yep.
Oh, that's nice. I've seen people do that with sticks too. Like they had a red stick, green stick kind of thing.
Or I'll do like thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down with how they think they're doing with the topic.
And Caitlin had said about exit slips. Madeline uses a checklist. Has anyone else seen other techniques that were used for looking at formative assessments in a classroom or in a work environment?
Sometimes I do just a quick Kahoot game
Mm-hmm.
to see where my students are at.
They like that too. I was really surprised.
They love it.
Yeah. Have the rest of you seen Kahoot?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think I have.
I have a link on there in the video, I think, from this week. It's like a little game show and it plays music and they can do points in that. And even students that are really not engaged, you can see if they're engaged or not. The nice thing about it, in my opinion, is if you play Kahoot and you have them log in with their real name or with a username that you know, you can download the spreadsheet with statistics of what they actually answered and how they did. And the kids get really super competitive. I was surprised. They would walk in the next day and they'd be like, "Are we playing again?" I'm like, "No, we already played that. We're moving on. We want to play again. I got to beat them. I studied last night. I got to beat them." And these are kids that didn't study. So it was pretty good. I've also tried, if you have a one iPhone, like your own personal iPhone, or one iPad Classroom, Plickers is listed on there, and that's really good for a situation like that. It has the cards with A, B, C, D, and the QR codes on it, and you can just scan the whole thing, and it does a pretty good job of picking it up. I was surprised. I did not think it would work as well as it did. So there's some game kind of things as well that people are using for formative assessment. It's going to kick us out of here, it looks like. So I'm going to send you the new Zoom link.